All right, folks, welcome back to Lakers Latest. It is Saturday, July 26th. I'm coming to you from Studio City, California, where it is about 81 degrees and sunny. Beautiful day again in the Los Angeles summer, just the way we like it. But yeah, let's hop into it. Let's get into the Lakers stuff. Let's chop it up. Let's start off with the first bit of news that we have had in these past few days, which is, again, it's not a full 100% descriptive report, but Mark Stein reported yesterday that he believes it would not surprise him in the slightest if LeBron leaves the Lakers after this season. In fact, I think he even said he's expecting it. Um, Obviously, there's been this whole LeBron back and forth thing with management kind of all off season. We thought potentially for a second that maybe they would look to trade him, although again I touched on the fact the immense difficulties they would have in doing that, especially a player that age with that amount of money that they have in the salary per season. It would be very difficult. And then after people realize, okay, that's not going to happen, maybe he's going to get bought out. Maybe that's going to happen. Is that something that could be realistic? Do they really not want him here anymore? Again, another ridiculous thing that was never going to happen. LeBron James is not getting bought out. The Lakers wouldn't do that, and LeBron's not going to get money anywhere that he's looking for. He's not a guy that would obviously accept minimum. So still, to see this coming out, I feel like after kind of weeks where you kind of feel like it's been patched up, all those reports of, maybe there's some tension there. They've done a pretty good job of patching it up. So this is a little bit of a surprise to see that. Now, I feel that most of us have been under the impression that LeBron was probably going to retire after the season based off the fact that he's about to turn 41. He's said multiple times before that he's not sure when it's going to end. This could be it. Obviously most 41-year-olds, that wouldn't be the case. Then again, this is LeBron James we're talking about. He's arguably the greatest player who's ever lived. Just an absolute living legend and a guy who's essentially like a cyborg. I mean, he's 41, still playing 35 minutes a game, putting up like 24, 8, and 8 on 50% shooting, 37% from the three or whatever. Like, he's unbelievable. He's still LeBron James. But with that being said, I think regardless of whether he's going to retire or whether he's going to leave after this season, the end is near for LeBron James era in Los Angeles. The end is very close to near, and this is most likely going to be the last season. I mean, there's still a chance he could come back if things go great, obviously, but there's a very good chance this could be the last season based off of kind of everything you're hearing. And again, not 100%, but I think, especially knowing that, you'd want them to go 100% all in if it is going to be LeBron's last season, especially with Luka here. Some of the other pieces they've added this offseason, potentially one more trade brewing or possibly incoming before the regular season starts. If it is going to be the end for LeBron, then obviously he's a living legend. You won a championship with him, arguably the greatest player ever, but you still want to try and do everything you can to contend in that final season. So we'll see. That's yet to be determined if LeBron would actually leave, but it is interesting timing on the report, I think, especially after kind of it seemed that they had mended the fences a little bit over the past few weeks. But yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. Obviously, if this is the end for LeBron, let's just hope that they contend and potentially try and win a championship, assuming they can make one more move. But yeah, it's been a heck of a ride if this is going to be the end after this season. So again, I want to take the next step. I know the other day we talked about what the Lakers starting lineup is going to like. Again, it's all up for interpretation because obviously we understand that multiple moves could still happen over the course of now and by the time the regular season, or really probably by the time the preseason starts, because there's not going to be any noticeable moves after that, most likely until the trade deadline. So kind of looked at that starting lineup, assuming nothing else happens, they don't add any more legit pieces. Kind of looked at it basically, Luka, blank, LeBron, Rui, Ayton. The blank is basically, do you think that Marcus Smart should start, or do you think that Austin Reeves should start? Now, obviously, they both bring a different dimension to the starting lineup, but whoever starts is going to seriously change the bench and alter what the bench can bring to the team. Now, let's for a second assume that Austin Reeves is going to start. So, if Austin Reeves starts, and assuming they don't make any more legitimate additions, whether that be via trade, via signing someone, or anything else, you're looking at most likely Kleba, Vanderbilt, Knecht, Laravia, Jackson Hayes. Then you have Koloko. I mean, Bronny's there too. and you have a couple other guys, but those are really kind of the five guys that you're gonna look at to get legitimate playing time. And Marcus Smart, excuse me. So that's Clabo, Vanderbilt, Knecht, Laravia, Hayes, Smart, Gabe Vincent. Like that's essentially the bench you're working with. And obviously not everyone's gonna play. At least two of those guys aren't gonna play. I would presume it's probably gonna be Vincent and Kleba, but obviously it's not that strong, right? Like assuming that you're going to get, let's say, Marcus Smart on the bench. Marcus Smart can score, but that's obviously not his game. Like you're not bringing in Marcus Smart to be the guy that scores 16, 18 points a game and contends for six man of the year off the bench. Like he could score a solid like 10 to 12 and he'll be a solid addition, but he's not going to be that guy that can come in and really, really score off the bench like you need sometimes. With that being said, he definitely, I'll talk a little bit more about him next, his offensive capabilities, but he definitely does bring something to the table. After him, the next guy you really probably are looking at from that step forward is Laravia. They just signed him. He's one of their bigger offseason additions, and basically, you know, he's a guy that can shoot threes. He's a guy that can spread the floor. He can do a little bit of everything offensively. I think the biggest role he's going to have is just going to be. I expect him to play with Luka and LeBron too, because he's just a good fit next to them to space the floor, get a bunch of good looks on threes, other shots, open the floor for everyone else. But yeah, Laravia, Knecht, um, Gabe Vincent, again, not really. Vanderbilt's an interesting one because, we kind of saw him. He's been a solid player in the league and he's had impact, but obviously injuries have been a huge issue for him. If he can come in fully healthy, like we've seen the impact that he can have on the basketball court. Again, not going to be a guy that scores 20 points in a game, but a guy that can really good rebounder, good defender, very versatile, and every team in the NBA needs that versatility. So I think if he's healthy, he can be a solid part to the bench, but it's still not. It's an okay bench, but it's not like an elite bench that you're gonna be like, wow, we have one of the most dominant second units in basketball. But it's still, I think it's probably middle of the pack. I mean, like I said, that you have those guys. Now, the alternative would be if Reeves is on the bench. Now, if Reeves is on the bench, now you have an elite second unit because this is a guy that's going to come in. He can distribute. He can do all those things. He's going to score as well, and he won't really have to worry about LeBron and Luka having the ball. He can kind of really run that second unit. So that's something they definitely need to consider because I do think he could be a great six man, but he also would fit well in the starting lineup. It's just a matter of would you rather have Marcus Smart's defense in the starting lineup playing kind of that role player next to all the other guys, or would you rather have Austin Reeves in that unit, or would you rather have Reeves as that kind of six man off the bench to kind of run that second unit and really make it an explosive second unit? So that's something, yeah, we'll see. Again, it's going to matter on if they add other people or not, but we will see. So, yeah, so now effectively we can transition. We'll stay on Marcus Smart. So what does Marcus Smart offensively bring to the table? Like, this is not a guy, we know the main reason he's here is because of his elite defense, his intangibles, his winning. He brings all those things to the table, and those are the top things that you need from him, that you're expecting from him. But, I mean, it's not like he's a slouch offensively. His career, 10 points a game, 38% from the field. A lot of that is kind of skewed by the first 4 years where he shot under 40% from the field. He had 41% from field goal with Boston, 43. So it's been up and down. Obviously, he's not super efficient. Career 32.4% three-point shooter. Again, not the best three-point shooter, but he can get hot at times. I mean, with Washington, he shot 39% from the field from three. There's been at times with Boston, he shot 36% or higher, but you're not going to get – it's probably going to be in that 32 to 34 range if I had to guess. It's not going to be elite by any means. He can make threes, but that's not his game. The one thing, regardless of whether he comes off the bench or not, is he is a solid playmaker. Career 4.6 assists a game. Last year, 3.2, 3.7 in Memphis, 4.3. He had as high as 6.3 1 year with Boston. So this is another ball handler, another guy who can dribble, another guy who can create by himself, not just by, giving the ball to other people. So that is something that he's going to bring to the table. And I think that is going to be a little overlooked. Like, he can score, he can run a second unit. It's just not going to be that superpower off the bench it would be if it was Reeves. But look, he's going to give you a little bit of everything. You're obviously getting that elite defense. You're getting the intangibles. He'll have some games where he hits like 5 or 6 threes. He won't have too many of them, but he's going to give you a little bit of offense. And I think if he's in that role player role, especially in the starting lineup, he can really just be more of like a 3-and-D guy who occasionally has the ball in his hands, can still be that third dribbler after Luka and LeBron. And if he comes off the bench, obviously he might have to possibly score a little more, which might make him a little inefficient, but he's still going to distribute. I think it'll be different. If he comes off the bench, I think you will see him have probably 2 assists more a game because he'll be kind of that guy running that second unit. Versus if he's in the starting lineup, he'll probably be more of a 3-and-D guy, occasionally takes the ball in his hands, maybe brings it up the court. But they have options. The Lakers have options. Smart still, even though he's not being brought here for his offense, he's still going to be useful offensively. And he brings intangibles too offensively, diving for loose balls, all the things you want in a winning player. So, again, focus on him defensively. That's why he's here. But offensively, I still think he's going to be a solid piece. So with this, let's transition to the final one. This is nothing too big here. It's just an interesting tidbit I saw on the internet that is possible that Bronny and Dalton Knecht can play in Drew League. Now, Drew League is a non-professional league that I don't know. I believe it's only summer, but a bunch of guys, celebrities have played in it. LeBron's played in it. A ton of NBA players played in it all the time. DeRozan's played in it so many times. So it's not necessarily something like, oh, we're gonna really evaluate how they played in Drew League today, and we can really discern something off that based off them. No, it's just fun. So we'll see see if there's any potential other reports about that, if that is going to happen, if that is going to fully surface. But just something to keep an eye out. Drew League, I believe, has played I can't specifically remember where. You'd have to look it up. But if we keep hearing that they are going to play, it's definitely something that I know I might look into going, and you guys potentially could look into going too. Obviously, it's always fun seeing your guys there, Lakers, and obviously with Bronny there, there'll be that elevated presence that people will probably pay attention to it. So, just something to keep an eye on. As far as Knecht, I don't know with him. We'll see if that actually materializes. I think, obviously, he did not have a strong summer league showing, which is not what the Lakers or any of us were hoping for, especially after, an up and down rookie season, still promising though. But yeah, I don't know if he's actually going to go there or if he's going to kind of use the remaining time up in the training camp, which we probably have about maybe 1.5 months until training camp, maybe a little less. If he's just going to go back home, focus on his game, focus on everything, we'll see. That's yet to be determined. Obviously, I would love to see them there. I hope they do come there. We'll probably know more in the coming days or weeks, but yeah, it's just a fun one. Keep an eye on it. If it is confirmed, you can go. It'll be really fun. So yeah, that's all I got today for you guys. Everyone have a great weekend, and until next time.